When people start jiu-jitsu or join the military, a lot of the time they have the advantage of youth on their side. Well, my life had different plans. I joined the military at 28 and decided to really start jiu-jitsu and stick with it at the age of 30. And even after having played football in college, been in martial arts, and lifted weights for my entire life, there was one aspect that was consistent throughout, and that was that my grip strength was a significant limiting factor. In jiu-jitsu, it can be argued that grips are almost everything. And in military performance, activities like heavy carries and calisthenics are essential. There are three distinct differences that I noticed in my life that are directly attributed to doubling my grip strength. And in this video, I'm going to highlight all three. And then I'll show you some research showing that even if you aren't into combat sports or in the military, that increasing your grip strength could have an incredible impact on your life. The first thing that I noticed was a significant decrease in my shoulder pain. As a physical therapist, I very often have patients that struggle with shoulder pain. And in the case of people that are dealing with rotator cuff pain in particular, I often use gripping exercises as a way to load the rotator cuff. There's a phenomenon called irradiation. Irradiation is a process in which muscles in one part of the body can be recruited by other nearby muscle groups through neuromuscular pathways. Now, we're not going to get into the weeds here, but I think that even though I was lifting weights consistently, doubling my grip strength not only allowed me to be more efficient with my lifts, but it also provided a different stimulus to the shoulder girdle, like the rotator cuff and other parascapular muscle groups. I wasn't waking up in pain, I had less pain after pressing workouts, and my shoulders didn't feel like they were going to fall off after jiu-jitsu, which leads me to the next aspect of my life that changed dramatically, and that was my jiu-jitsu. Everybody that's done jiu-jitsu knows that when you're first starting out in BJJ, you're doing virtually nothing right. But what I found is that even though I was still getting smashed every roll, I had to worry much less about grips being a limiting factor. In fact, I started to be able to escape more chokes, hold grips longer, and more easily figure out a way to fight away more grips or escape certain positions than I had in the past, since my mind wasn't always on saving my grip strength. Now, of course, some of this came with just getting better at jiu-jitsu, but I know for a fact that doubling my grip strength played a huge role in these improvements. Being able to move my wrists and fingers the next day is also a plus. And finally, my military-related training. So I'm currently training up for a school in the Army. It's a pretty tough school that requires you to be proficient at carrying heavy objects for long distances. So throughout my time in the military, I've had to complete different events like 12-mile rucks, land navigation, down pilots, all of which have you either carrying something like a rifle off to your side or farmers carrying different equipment. Suffice it to say that your grip strength needs to be on point. Now, I'll admit, there was never a time where my grip strength completely gave out, but there were times when my forearms would start burning to the point where it would occupy my attention, and I would need to shift positions in order to offload certain muscle groups. And this may not seem like a big deal, but in events like these, you're often having to manage personnel around you, or stay focused on completing a task while you're carrying these objects, or even people. Any attention pulled away from the task at hand could lead to problems. And I've noticed since doubling my grip strength, my training is much more focused on the task at hand, rather than constantly having to fidget and shift my position to give my grips a rest. So what if you aren't in the combat sports or the military? Well, there's a multitude of evidence to suggest that no matter your age, increasing your grip strength can only benefit you. In children, adolescents, and adults, higher grip strength is strongly correlated to total muscle strength. And in older adults, time and time again, there proves to be a strong association with risk of mortality. Not to mention significantly increased likelihood of making just one trip with the groceries. Reveal yourself if you make more than one trip from your car to your house with the groceries. Unforgivable. In all seriousness, I'm going to link my original video in the description, which highlights how I doubled my grip strength in just 3 months. The link is a Google Doc, so if you click on it, I'll share it with you for free. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.